Negro, homie.
Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. The show is about to begin.
All right, so once again, we're back. This is Socially Irresponsible, the podcast. I never start with the title, but I figure like I might as well because this is our 5th time doing the show. But hopefully everyone on there that is listening to us, again, this is Socially Irresponsible, the podcast. We have a new system up, so we're doing some things, some improvement. As you can see, the quality of the video, hopefully you can see, is a lot better. Our intro is top notch. I don't care what anybody says, but our intro is kind of dope. It's real dope. We're gonna have a contest with it, hopefully, and we'll see how many people can guess on the countdown, how many people can actually guess what these are references for and what they're to. We'll give out some money. We'll do something great. Prizes are good. I learned that from Mr. Ken Brown. He told me free. People like prizes. People like giveaways, right? But anyway, so once again, like I said, I am Maverick. This is Socially Irresponsible, the podcast. You want to say it, Bree?
Hey.
And that is our engineer, Miss Hay3. They can hear us, right? We're good?
Bree. Yeah, we should be good.
All right, perfect. So, as I said earlier, it's a month and a half in the making, okay? We haven't recorded in a long time. We've been doing the comedy scene for a little bit, Bree. Thanks to KK, he's got us into the path of interviewing some top comedians that have came through San Antonio, and even some of the local comedians at Upstage Comedy Lounge. So that's a pretty dope spot. If y'all haven't been there, please go check that out for their shows.
Check it out.
And I haven't been recording. God, I don't know why. Should I go into it? Should I speak on it or should I?
What's the problem, brother? What's the problem?
So
what we here for? So yeah, let's put it out there.
So I've been in MIA for a little bit, working, taking care of the kids, and going through some relationship issues. And I kind of been away from the scene, not because of the relationship issues, just life happens. Summertime, I have the kids now, so I'm doing a lot of that. And is the ones and twos working, Bree? No? Okay, I'll do it. So anyway, I've been kind of trying to figure out some things with the relationship. Okay. And like I said before, again, we're going to get into it again. I ran across Mr. Darius, and I ran across Mr. Darius at a panel that they had talking about relationship issues that Miss Erica Powers had. And in that panel, there was a lot of commotion going on. A lot of tell us about that.
Well, I mean, obviously, so to let the audience know, this discussion was all about relationships. So you know how that can get heavy. And so there were some questions, some topics that were discussed, and emotions flew. There was some emotions going on. And the host who was trying to control it so we can keep moving, because you can't be there forever, right? So sometimes we got to move off a topic and move on. And the host at the time was trying to move it along, and there were some people that were not having it. They had to be heard. So yeah, it wasn't pretty, but we got through it.
Well, and it was very stupid. But the one thing I did when I got there, I found you, right?
Yeah.
And we spoke. You kind of pulled me aside, and we had a conversation. We exchanged each other's Facebook information. That's what we do as grown folks.
Right. We don't exchange numbers. We
exchange Facebook tags, and I went through a couple of mutual friends to find you. Yeah. And first shot, it all worked out. Right. And I found you. So I appreciate you answering my call after I found you to come out here and do this show. We've had a couple of conversations. Yeah. We actually talked for about 3 hours before the show. Mm-hmm. And as we talked, we kind of figured out we have a lot in common when it comes to our mental. Yeah. And it's crazy because I just look at you and I feel you're a wiser what I want to be, in a sense.
I fake it well.
You're wiser of what I want to be, and I appreciate you for coming on. And
that's heavy, brother. I don't know if I want you to don't say that on air. I don't want you to be like me.
It's been said already.
We're gonna have to edit that one out.
It has been said. But again, I do appreciate, because a brother as myself, we need conversations with our I don't say elder. What's the proper word? What senior classmen? I don't know. What do you say?
I'm just older.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Experienced.
I don't feel like some senior,
right?
But I do recognize I'm older than some of the younger gentlemen, of course.
I don't know. Elder statesman, is that the word? Is that proper? No.
No.
No, we're not 80. I'm saying we're not that generation. Right. We are just older homies.
Yeah.
The upperclassmen.
The upperclassmen.
There you go.
We'll go with the upperclassmen. Just control it with that, Bree. So anyway, with that being said, I reached out and I'm here, and I want y'all's opinion. And not only did I find you, Darius, as you can see on screen, Dr. I would say Dr. Ken Brown. Mm-hmm. How are you doing?
Yes. Doing great, brother. Doing great.
And you're a blessing as well. And
try to be.
You're doing a pretty good job at it.
Yeah, we trying hard.
You're doing it. You're doing it very. And Darius, I appreciate you for getting me in contact with this brother.
Definitely. Listen, this brother, we had a little man cave huddle. So there's an organization, Man Cave. What up, Man Cave? So we do this thing every 3 months called Man Cave Huddle, and so basically we bring men together and we talk about stuff that are on our hearts that affect Black men. Mm-hmm. Right. And so the first person I thought about when we were doing mental health, the first person I thought about was I got to get in touch with Dr. King, because that's my man right there. Yeah. So that's who I go to.
That's who you go to, right?
That's the man. And I brought him on board. They loved him. They were like, yo, that dude, because he keeps it real. So they really like what he did. So I was like, listen, we're going to do this. We need to have him on.
Did you know the world loved you? Did you know that? Don't blush. Don't be over there blushing and stuff.
Listen, man, when you got a wife, she keep you humble. Everybody,
is that what it is?
Everybody don't love you all the time, but we do have a national practice, and I'm very, very honored to just talk to everybody. Day them from the hood, Todd and Becky from the penthouse. Those guys out there throwing up signs on the West Coast. So we see everybody from 5 to 85.
Oh man!
And we just pull wisdom out. That's what we do. We are miners of wisdom from within.
So what is it that you do? And I want to get back to you in a second, Darius. Let's leave it on Ken.
Yeah.
What is it that you do for life? Why does everybody love you?
One, I think the clients speak for themselves. You go onto our website, you'll see we're blessed, 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 and it means more to me than any degree or anything. We only get 5-star reviews, and I think what my brother was saying about us, we just try to speak to the people. I don't have any bag of tricks. I'm hearing your situation. I'm giving you feedback of what you're saying, and we're trying to make it make sense. How does this make sense to you? Was that your best move? I just talk how I want to be counseled. Man, I need counseling, from time to time. I want somebody to keep it real. People are working hard to get that paycheck. So they don't have time for me to ask them what we call pansy questions, weak questions about what's going on in their world. They want and need, tell me what's wrong, Dr. Brown. Let's get to the bottom line, and that's what I try to do.
Okay. So what you're a counselor, psychologist, psychiatrist?
I'm a family counselor.
Family counselor.
Yes, with a lemonade front porch kind of flavor.
There you go.
And actually,
That's
the
it.
brother's a unicorn.
Why you say that?
There's not a lot of black
Yeah,
male
that's
counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists, anyone in that field. There's not a lot of them.
true.
So he is a unicorn.
So it's crazy because a while ago I went to speak with a counselor. My daughters were like 2, maybe 3, and they're 13 and 12 now. So it was 10 years ago. And we sat down with this woman, 23-year-old white woman, fresh out of college. And I got up and left.
Yeah.
I got up and left. I told the people that set me up, there's nothing that she can talk to me about and tell me about that I don't think it'll make sense. And maybe it's I don't want to say it's a racist thing or something like that, but it's with an experience. I'm just had a kid, going on my second kid, going through relationships with someone, and she's single with textbook knowledge.
There's some truth to that. However, man, let's give everybody a shot. And I would ask all of the professionals in any field, but in particular with counseling, if you're not in the race group of the constituency that you're serving,
Okay.
it does not rule those people out. However, man, do your homework.
Yeah.
Get out there. Usually the African-American community has a dualism anyway, according to Du Bois from back in the day. We have a a mandate to understand our white counterparts, our black counterparts, our black people, but our white counterparts, our white brethren and sister, and God bless them. They got to, from what I can see, what I have noticed, got to do a little bit more digging. Maybe not the younger generation, but do a little bit more digging and find out who we are.
Okay.
And then, look, get help so that you're not ready to turn around when you first walk through the door, whether it's a young white lady, black white lady, or white gentleman. Because they put the work in, they can help you and add to you if you're not familiar with their culture and their world.
Okay.
So I wouldn't write everybody off, but I do understand what you're saying. And if folk are just trying to touch your hair and, asking your opinion about, Black Lives Matter or something. I mean, this is not my counseling time is not your time to learn about the black culture.
Right.
Yeah.
But consequently, people like you do come see me after having that experience.
It was crazy.
And I'm glad that, because generally people will say, you know what, I tried counseling, it didn't work. You got to find the right fit.
It's kind of how I look at relationships. So I date interracial. I date black woman, white woman. I date women, right? I date personalities. And it comes to a point when we're older, I feel like I don't want to have to explain my blackness to my wife, right? I don't want to have to convince her that I feel like I'm going through an oppressed situation when I was at work and I'm being overlooked and I'm working hard and I'm doing everything I feel like I need to do to get to where I want to be. I don't have to convince her that my skin is an issue, to where I can speak with someone else and they could let me know, like, I understand what you're going through and this is what you need to do to get by. So that was kind of the situation I was going through when I was talking to the counselor. It's like, you have no kids. You're younger than me. You just got out of college. You know, what is it that I can learn that you can guide me into where I'm going to? I need someone who's on their 4th marriage, 6 baby mama.
No,
Not really, but
No, I know your point. Let me do a quick plug.
go ahead.
Since you brought that up.
No, I want you to. Go ahead.
That's one of the beauties of going to a historically black college.
here we go. Here we go.
What is that college?
A historically black college. Some of my colleagues, when they go to a PIW, they are trained to deal with 1 or 2, maybe 3 subjects at a time when their clients come to see them.
What's a PIW?
Predominantly, this is a white institution.
Okay.
Okay, PWI maybe. Predominantly is a white institution.
Okay.
And there's no knock on them. Thank you for that question, so I could correct myself. But when you're dealing with a HBCU, the professors are generally African American, and they're not only just teaching you from the textbook, but they're bringing their experience
Yes.
to the classroom. And I don't know any client that's only dealing with 1 or 2 issues at a time. It's a multiple array from the black diaspora, from our brown brothers from Puerto Rico, El Salvador, South America that I've encountered. Very similar backgrounds as the black diaspora. So when our clients come through the door, man, we got issues.
Oh.
So when to any color of people, but in particular to my black brothers and sisters that's looking to go into psychology, man, check out your HBCU, because you're going to be prepared even the more to deal with the diversity of issues that's going to come and sit in front of you. Just had to plug HBCU.
I see. Yes.
Howard University.
Howard.
You know.
What so if everyone's listening, everyone's going through something. And Charlemagne is one of the guys that he always talks about. He goes to counseling. And he doesn't go to counseling because he needs it. It's good to talk to somebody sometimes. So if someone was to want to find you, where and how would they do that?
KinlanConsultants.com. KinlanConsultants.com. That's my first name, my wife's first name. We just combined them. That's an adjective, verb, and a noun. We were Kinlan before we started the business. It is all of that. That's our time. Prayerfully, when I leave here, I'm going to have some Kinlan time.
There you go.
You know. So that's what we named it.
Okay.
We named it after the personality of our relationship.
That's dope.
That's what's up.
KinlanConsultants.com.
That's dope. And this is why you're here. Someone that I feel like I can learn.
That's what we wanted to know. What could we bring to the table today? Ain't no wisdom. We just brothering from the barber shop. Okay, from down the square, just down the block, brothers. Here just to chop it up.
60 minutes, Brianna. That's what we're going to give everybody. Just 60 minutes, and we're going to have this conversation. And as we're getting that set up, Mr. Darius, you also are part of the Man Cave here in San Antonio, right? Explain to us, what is that?
So basically, the history of it, or how it got started, was really just a circle of brothers. We, since I've been here, many of us have come here from different, because a lot of black people here are implants because of the military or whatever.
Yes.
And so through different social mediums, we've came in contact with one another and just started hanging out together, doing stuff together. And in those times, we would sit and have conversations, and we're like, man, this and that needs to happen, or we'll have that personal talk like we're supposed to be doing tonight, like, brother, man, I'm going through this, And so Mason who actually started this, Mason Newsom.
He started?
Yes, he's in Los. Those two started. They were like, you know what, we really need to do something to bring us together and focus us and make us accountable. Make us, to bring support, do stuff in the community, all the rest of that. So they just reached out to another, to the group of us, and we said, yeah, we're on board. Let's do this. And And so things are happening. I can't really talk about anything right now, but there's some major things that are coming down the pike. But until that's like official, I can't say nothing. But yeah, we're really trying to do something. We started off as social, but we're actually trying to do some stuff in the community. And even in that, I've been reaching out to some other Black people that I know that are deeply rooted in stuff that goes on in San Antonio that I don't know about because I'm not from San Antonio.
Okay.
So, but yeah, but it's a great group of fellas, and they're really trying to do stuff. And like I said, we're trying to adopt Ken. Eventually, he's gonna be in there.
I'm in there.
Something.
Beautiful group of men. Love going out there. They invited me out to speak. And it was about 20, 25 brothers there from all walks of life, and I mean that. Mm-hmm. And there was a camaraderie that was very natural and organic. And brothers was opening up and sharing.
Yes.
What were they talking about when you talk about opening up and sharing?
Well, like much like what you're doing here right now, what are the expectations, man? How did I mess up? What do I do? What do I need to do now?
Right.
This is the current situation I'm in. I'm not sure how to handle it. Very much like you and I was chopping it up a little bit earlier. I need some help with this. I need some help with that. As I told them, man, there's about 20 of y'all. Y'all can mess something up in here. We got enough men in here to just change some things.
Yes.
But that's the kind of Black power that the men possess. Mm-hmm. Just need to organize it.
Mason knew, huh?
Mm-hmm. I think it's Newsom.
Newsom, okay. I thought you said Mason. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, Mason Newsom. I was like, we got to talk, man. We got to have a talk, Mason, Mr. New. Go to, when you get a chance, Bree, swipe over and go to the notes section. Just three fingers. Other way. And then on the very bottom, you see kind of like what we're trying to do. We're trying to get our transcript up because there's, like I said, there's some things I specifically wanted to have a conversation on. Can I say what is it? Is that how you do it? Can I do that? Am I allowed to do that, or would I get jumped? Kind of like
no, you ain't gonna get jumped.
Throwing up the hooks.
But folks are gonna thank you from Howard.
Okay.
Thank you, alumni or something.
That's actually, in all honesty, that is something that I wish I would have partook in. Growing up for college, I would love for my daughters to go to an HBCU, hands down. I fell in love with Deion Sanders, with what he is doing over there at Jackson State. Yeah. The person he is, like I always was a fan of Deion Sanders as a football player. Mm-hmm. I love him as a man now. Like madly in love, man crush Monday and everything.
Yes, sir.
Like he is doing a great deal for those kids. Absolutely. And before those kids got there, I don't think they really understood what they had in him. They thought that they were going to play for a Hall of Fame NFL legend, and that's all that they thought they're going to get out of that, to be around that kind of just that kind of person. Mm-hmm. And instead they got a whole father figure, a whole leader, a whole mentor, a motivational speaker, and somebody that doesn't put up with nobody's shit.
Yeah. Well, not only that, my brother, I believe by the looks on their faces and by what Deion is actually preaching, and it's not just about you.
Yes.
And, sometimes that gets lost in our community that, hey, I'm coming here and I'm going to get my bling and I'm going to get paid and these things. But you're a part of something that's bigger than just you, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And let's come here and become world changers, if you will, mm-hmm. or at least changers of the trajectory of our family. Let's break some curses. And when I watch Deion, that's what I'm hearing him talk about.
Yeah, he's doing some great things, and I'm jealous and proud of those boys at the same time, because I was also a football player growing up.
But listen, brother.
Me too.
Yeah.
Listen. So that's all good. We talking about Deion. He's a good brother, but that is not why we came here.
All right.
We need to get back on track because
he just did that.
Yeah,
he just
there you
got
go.
get back on track.
Okay, so as I said, I brought you. I was trying to stall. You didn't let me. You didn't let me kind of go. So damn, Darius.
No, let's go.
So I am So I'm nervous in a couple of ways. Okay. For one, sitting here with you guys, and I'm pubbing y'all. I always feel like I'm a very intelligent person, right? Far out there, but like I feel like I have my head on pretty decently, and it's intimidating being in a room with you two guys. And I don't care what y'all say about it. Y'all can be as humble as you want to, but it is. And I like that feeling. I always grew up from learning in business that you always want to be the brokest person in the room around your group of friends, because that means you're gonna be able to learn and you're gonna be able to grow.
Yeah.
So with you being in here, I'm afraid to say the N-word, right? And that's a positive for myself, because as I said earlier, when you couldn't hear us, that whole conversation. But the other part why I'm scared is because I have feelings in a lot of.
No way. Black men don't have feelings.
We don't, huh?
Brother, don't you know that? We don't have feelings. You can't have them. Not allowed to.
So communication to me is a big thing. And we talked about communication. And it was crazy because I was talking with somebody about the situation I was going through. It was another woman. And I realized I can't reach out to women to speak about issues because the conversation is never the way that I feel like it should be, if that makes any sense. And I realized that in talking to this woman, because she was talking about a guy she was dating, and he didn't want to be with her, and he told her how okay, you're the doctor. You tell me how you feel about this. A man's dating a woman. A woman wants a man is telling the woman that she's a perfect woman and he can't be with her in a sense because he feels like he's gonna mess it up. She's too perfect and X, Y, and Z. She feels like he is saying that because he doesn't want to be with her. How do you feel about that conversation when it comes from two sides, if I may ask? Was what I'm asking making any sense?
The brother has been upgraded by the woman. He's, you're saying he does not feel he's worthy of her.
Yes.
So he doesn't want to mess it up, and consequently, he wants to just walk away from it because he doesn't want to embarrass himself. He doesn't want to waste her time. He's thinking much about her more than himself. So it sounds like to me, maturity has to be the equalizer in that conversation. There has to be a conversation because sometimes people can shy away, and then other people start, assuming.
Okay.
And they start overthinking things. Well, he's not calling me because he's ghosting me or what have you. The whole time he's sitting there thinking, man, what do I say? This woman is more intelligent. She's got 50 letter words and stuff like that. So the conversation of a transparency needs to take place.
See, I need to step in for a second.
What do you think about it?
I can get all of that if you're talking about a man just approaching a woman and he's like, oh my gosh. But if you've been in a relationship or talking to her for a while, I can't buy that. Because it's like, if she thought that her level of socioeconomic status and her intelligence and whatever is like far above you and it's bothering her, she would not be talking to you. So and when I say you, I mean the person.
Yes.
Right.
Right. So I kind of like don't buy that. I feel like it's really now this I cannot believe I'm about to say this. I'm about to relate to the women. Because I've heard women so many times say that they meet men that they say that so many black men are intimidated by them. And I'm like, every time I hear that, I go, what? Who y'all talking to? Who y'all talking to that's intimidated? But in that situation, I'm like, that sounds like intimidation to me. Like he might be a little bit intimidated, maybe lacks a little confidence, or he really don't want to be with her, and he's just saying that to be nice.
See, I see both points. I don't think you're giving him the benefit of the doubt at all. and that's totally fine. And I like to take stuff for what it's worth. I like to take it for what it's presented to me as. And if I've had that conversation with somebody before, and it was with dating a really good friend, or not dating, but we're really good friends. Great, but didn't want to take it to that next level because losing that person as a friend, as in a relationship, would be harder than not having that person as a friend. Once you are in a relationship and you lose that person, it's normally, for the most part, it's for bad situations. And it would be hard to lose someone that you're that close with. So sometimes until you know you're 100% ready, let's just keep this where we're at, and then we can venture into that. Because one thing about relationships, like I always talk about, it's a two-way street. It's not when you're ready, it's not when I'm ready. It's when we're ready. And if we're both not ready at the same time, then what the hell are we really doing, in a sense? Does that kind of make sense, or am I off on that?
No, I agree with that. And to go back more to the core of what you're saying about that particular scenario, man, people find each other and they connect for various reasons. They find each other in the club. They find each other in the supermarket, driving down the highway. If both people are trying to have a relationship, they try to make it work initially.
Okay.
But to my man Darius's point, you look at the numbers. Black women, by and large, we talking about black women by and large, like 93%, no matter what social media is saying, what folk are saying on TV, 93% of the time they looking for a black man.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they should or they shouldn't.
That's just what it
Find
is.
some love from somewhere.
Yes.
Right.
You know, but our black women tend to select us.
Yes.
But guess where we are? We're not always eligible. So when that woman decides she wants to date a brother, whether she is at a higher economic level or not, or whatever the case may be, she might come from a different home than him or whatever, okay? He might have 2-3 kids or more. She want a black man. That's what the data says. So she's willing to give that brother a try, even if he's not necessarily on her level, so to speak. She just want a brother that's going to come home and act right. Because the numbers are not there to support that there are enough black women to black men. But we're not available to them a lot of times.
And I hear what you're saying,
Yes.
and I've heard that same stats and stuff many times. And one thing I want to say to all the women out there, check your city. 'Cause a lot of that has to do with where you live. If you're trying to find a man that's like at your socioeconomic status and you can't find a move.
Get out of San
Because
Antonio.
statistically, they say that black men still make more money than women, but it depends on where you live.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Can't always move, brother.
I'm just saying.
You got mama down the
I
street.
get
You got your
that.
church
I'm just-
down the corner. Your job. And how you just say move?
Listen.
Hold on.
That's a real option.
No, listen. That's very, like, we talk about relationships and people, and we have these outlandish ideas on what we should do for love, in a sense.
Sure.
But nobody ever puts reality into the conversation. Like, you understand how hard and how much it doesn't make sense to up and move just to find love.
Well, yeah, I really wasn't saying, like, I
Literally.
was just,
Yeah.
I just put that out there because that's actually what the statistics say. So I'm just getting more information in case someone is willing to move, but
Can we check? We can. A lot of folk are finding each other in different states.
yeah, okay.
So
yeah,
they're
that's true, too.
exploring long distance relationships, and as economics and time allow it, they're finding each other and settling. Just wanted to throw that in. They'll settle
Yeah.
somewhere.
Hey, however you can make it work, it work. But what I really wanted to get to on that, because you were saying, brother, act right. If they just want to
Yes.
find a brother that'll act right.
Yes, sir.
And I think, if we're going to talk about this specific topic where we're talking about a woman having, reached a certain level and her socioeconomic status is above what, the brother is, whatever that she may be dating. I wonder how much of that is the men feel like the women wear their status on their sleeve too much. And they're always throwing it in their face about how well they're doing, I don't need you, I can take care of this myself, I got my money, that kind of thing, and that'll make a man back off. Like, oh my gosh, okay, we're going down that road.
Yeah.
So So that could be part of it, you know, and I get where a lot of it comes from, because historically, right, we know that Black women have been through some stuff, right, and we know historically women in general have not always been treated well. They're just now starting to get some love, but we still got a long ways to go, right?
Right.
So I get all of that. And so historically, you know, women have gone through stuff, and then we have the whole, you know, men leaving the household, but not, you know, just because they wanted to leave the house, but we know what happened, you know, that, and a lot of men being shipped off to jail, or, you know, all the stuff that was going on. So a lot of men were leaving the household. So what were these mothers, grandmothers, aunties, you know, sisters in the church telling the young girls, make sure you can take care of yourself, right? Get your job, get your education, make sure you can take care of yourself. So now we have Black women are considered to be one of the most educated group of people in this country.
Okay.
So if that's the case, and the Black men, you know the stats on that, we're dropping out like crazy in college. We're not going to college. Just all kinds of issues, right? So how does that impact our relationships if we have all these women doing well? And again, like I said, they've been told to be strong, you know, don't take no crap from anybody. So of course they're going to wear it on their sleeve, because that's what they were taught to do. So now in response, Black men got to be like, okay, I get that. I understand. And we got to find some way to communicate and love on that one. Be like, look, I know you worked hard for that. I get it. But I'm going to need you to, you know, tap it down a little bit. But how do you do that?
See, I hate the narrative that goes around about women, for one, right?
Which narrative?
And the narrative that women are the perfect species. Not saying that y'all are saying that, but women are the high end perfect species, and the men are so substandard, right? Yeah. Are so substandard. You always hear people talking about, I know my worth, and you look at people and you're like, really? Like, do you really? The idea, and this is some like just harsh reality, like some a-hole stuff to say. Not everybody is worth everything, right? If we're gonna be completely honest with you, there's some really horrible, crappy people out there, men and women both, right? Mm-hmm. And I hate the narrative. And I have friends out there that have this conversation. You know, she don't know my worth, or he don't know my worth, and it's like I know you, right? And I think that's a term, as we talked about that one day, these terms that are overused. That's a term that people overuse. I don't think people really look at themselves and understand what their worth really is. Everybody wants everything, and everyone feels like they deserve the best, but nobody is putting the work in for themselves to want that best.
Because I think a lot of times when people are saying,
does that make sense?
It does. And I think when people are saying that, and I'm saying people, not just women, when people are saying that, they tend to always look at it as strictly about value, in terms of money, in terms of currency, or what they can make happen. And it has nothing to do with personality or character, you know, or standards or something like this. Like, oh, I know my worth and I can make all this stuff happen. But behind the scenes, you know the character of that person. You're going, you know, you make a lot of money, but your character, you're you know, a horrible person. So I think that's where that issue lies.
Y'all are gonna hate me. I'm sorry for. I know y'all are gonna hate me for saying this. I don't think. Is it okay to say something negative about Black women? Is that something that we're allowed to do? Or are we supposed to always kind of like just big up as if there's no issues with that community? I don't know what are we allowed to do?
Say
with
what
that?
you feel is a problem. Yeah.
But it's not that there is one problem. It's that there's something there, right? Nobody nobody here is perfect. And I'm not here to bash Black women. I'm not here to say that y'all are this and that, because I understand. I understand where we're at as a society and as a group and what y'all been through. And that's not even the conversation that I'm trying to have. But it's crazy in my experience to where whoever y'all are, I'm talking the hit dog that's hollering right now. Mm-hmm. It's that you feel like you have to down us to up you.
Yeah.
Like I understand everything that the black community has been through and what women in general has been through. But you don't have to let us know how great you are by trying to make black men here.
Listen, I was going to say that a little bit earlier. People who have worth and they know what their worth is, they don't run around talking about, I know my worth. That's not, I've never heard, quite frankly, hardly ever, unless they're explaining it in a particular context. But in general conversation, and if you look at their social media feeds, they're not putting stuff out there about my worth because their worth is known within.
Yeah.
They don't have to talk about it because it is what it is. But to your point about what were you saying earlier about just now about black women in particular?
Black women, I feel that they don't need to uplift themselves. They don't
Gotcha.
need to down us.
We're in a social media age where people are doing stuff for the likes. You know, they're doing a lot for the likes. You got to keep that in mind. Although some folks really feel that way, I'm sure. Okay. But generally, when I've seen people who have a bad taste in their mouth and they're downing a particular gender, if you look at their history, somebody hurt them.
Yeah.
Somebody ran through them. There was an absentee male figure around that house somehow. So sometimes people speak out of their hurt. They're not speaking out of their balanced self, their most healthiest self. Because, you know, generally healthy people, again, they're not looking to run down anybody else.
Yes.
They got too much going on, positive, or they got goals. I don't got time to be bringing anybody else down. That's what I have seen.
They know their worth. They're not sitting out here trying to convince others of it. It's already known, right?
They ain't trying to convince nobody. They too busy trying to get that next paycheck, that next promotion, that next degree. They on a mission. They trying to get their kids in another place. So, you know, what did you say? The hit dog hollers. What that country Texas?
The hit dog hollers. A hit dog will always holler.
Front porch Texas.
He went there. But it's your true statement, because if you know, women talk about deadbeat dads all the time. That is a conversation I will never partake in. Like, yeah, they do exist. What else are you talking about? Like, I can't have that conversation with you because that I am not. You know what I mean? And that's how I feel when a lot of people talk about it. And something that I've grown at from the show, I know we kind of got off topic, but something that I've grown at from the show and talking to people, I'm realizing that most of these issues aren't women issues nor men issues. It's not a gender thing. It's a people thing. And I blame women for a lot of stuff because I partake in women, right? That is what I do, right? I'm not into men. So I don't know how men, you know, are intimately.
Right.
I have some friends and people like, you think I should talk to him? I was like, well, I know him as a friend. I don't know him on an intimate level. He's going to treat me different than he treats you, or so we hope, right? So it's kind of a hard thing to, and I want people, and I'm saying this for people that are listening, try to stop looking at things from a I hate men or I hate women or a sexist type situation, and understand that people are like this, and this is something as a whole, as people, that we really need to address with each other and heal within, because as we keep on talking about men and women, at that point we're just going into a battle, and when you're in a battle, what are you going to do? You're going to try to win for your side. At this point, we're not trying to solve anything. At this point, we're just trying to win. So a lot of these conversations, like when it comes to cheating, that's not a man thing. It's not a man thing. That's a people thing.
Sure
People cheat. And I guess, you know, recently someone went through my phone and found some. Yeah, so we'll get to that, which is the meat and potatoes of it. So we'll get to that. But, you know, I've been the guy that was dating someone or was messing around with someone who was in a full relationship. And I don't think until you're that man that is dealing with a woman that's in a relationship, you'll never realize how down low, dirty a woman can be to a man. Like you would think around that women are just the greatest things out there and they don't ever do anything bad. But until you've been that side dude, you be like, God, she did. You want me to do what?
You know, the reason for it mostly is because, you know, again, we talk about social media. Social media is about expressing yourself, and that's not something men do a lot of. So the voice you're going to hear most from on a lot of issues on social media is going to come from the woman's point of view. And if a lot of them feel hurt, and like Brother Kim was saying, they're not speaking from their balance self, then you're going to hear a lot of the hurt talk out there. So you're not going to hear, I mean, I've gone through it a lot, like in many singles groups. And you'll constantly see posts over and over again, why men cheat, why, and I'll jump in and be like, why people cheat?
Yeah.
You know, but they don't care. They don't, well, this ain't about that. This is why. And I'm like, but you do know women cheat too. So why, if this is a singles group where we're trying to make connections, then why are you making it a sexist issue or a man only issue? Like when we know everyone, well, not everyone, but we know both genders do it. Now, with that said, statistically, at least what we know, men cheat more.
Why would you say that? In all honesty, so as you say that men cheat more, what I think you should say, right? And there's a reason behind it. Men get caught more. It's not that men cheat more. That's where I was gonna go.
Right. That's where I was gonna go. I think, you know, I don't know if I want to go down this road too much, but you know, it's just a little bit easier for women to be able to get away with it.
Why do you think that is?
Well, because the side dude is not trying to blow anything up. The side dude who's in that relationship most of the time, it's free. You know what I'm talking about. He don't have to spend the money on this chick. He's not the one that has to take her out, whatever. He just waiting for her to come running around to him like, oh, my man didn't this and this. And he's like, oh, really? Oh, I understand. And then he smashed
cool.
her. So, right. And then he smashed
Have a good day.
him. Yeah, and he's like, okay, bye. You know, and he ain't going to try to mess it up no matter how good it is. But when it's the other way around, you know, if it's good D, sometimes women's emotions get caught up with that, and they're trying to break that stuff up. If it's good D, and he's got a woman, they're going to try to break that up. And so that man, even though he's like telling her, look, don't text me around this time, don't call me around this time, don't do this, don't do that. She's going to do that because if she can't have him, then she's breaking them up.
So. That's how I feel when it comes to cheating, when it comes to men and women. I got into my situation in a sense, and come
on.
Okay, so when it comes to cheating, and I got caught cheating in a sense, right? And I don't want to say in a sense, I don't want to downplay it, but I'm not going to sit here and bash myself and make me feel like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to do that, right? So I'm just not. It's not where I'm at. It's a conversation that I really want to have, but I'm afraid to. I'm really afraid to talk about this openly. And I really want to because I have a lot of good shit to say about it. And I'll take full accountability on everything that I did, right? I'll take full accountability on it. Because I can't take it back. Why am I, you know, I apologize. I don't want to apologize for getting caught. I was in a really shitty situation and I'm trying to figure some shit out, right? But then I can't say that because then that's an excuse, right? I can't say that, you know, people talk about manipulating and narcissistic behaviors, which are again terms that are overly used.
Right.
Another one of those words.
And it's like, you know, to manipulate, like it's crazy because, like, have you ever dated someone that would? Never mind. It's a two-coin flip. It's bad on both sides. And I want to have that conversation. And I've even reached out to the woman that I'm talking about, and I told her I wanted to have a sit down with you because from the very beginning, I've always told her that we need to talk. And to be honest with you, man, I don't know what the conversation is going to mean or where it's going to lead. To be honest with you, I have my thoughts about it, and I understand that it's going to take two adults to have this conversation. And I'm not saying that she's not.
So Damien. Conversation about what?
Because I feel so.
About what?
I'm an analogy person. It's gonna be the dumbest analogy you've ever heard. But when you hear a woman cheat, right, and you have that conversation, and this is not justifying cheating or stepping out or figuring something out, because this was a situation that I had prior to even figuring out what I wanted with her. But and I openly date. Everyone knows that. Like, everyone knows how I do it. It's not a secret. It's not a surprise. I lied to her. I told her that I would be in a monogamous situation with her. And I should not have, said that. If I would not have said that, I'm saying, let's just be friends. We'll fuck around and we won't, whatever happens. This whole situation would have been different. But I told her do I have a reason for it? Yes, I have a reason for it. But it's like, I'm afraid to even voice that reason. I'm afraid to even talk about it, because if I speak how I feel about it, it's bullshit. It's an excuse. I'm not allowed to have real feelings as into why I do stuff. Someone else, a woman in a sense, and I'm not putting this on women, but a woman can make moves based on their feelings and emotions and act a certain way. But I don't feel like I can. I don't feel like I could be hurt and it pushes me somewhere. I don't feel like I can be mad and then I get pissed off and get angry and flip out. I don't feel like I'm allowed to have normal emotions that, and I don't want no sympathy about it. I don't give a fuck what y'all think about it, to be honest with you. Pardon my French.
Speak your truth.
But I want to be able to have I want to be able to be normal, right? I want to be able to have feelings, and I want them to be understood. And one of my biggest things in with people, and it bothers me like crazy. I don't care about you feeling why I do stuff. I just want you to understand as into why I made this decision. Maybe, it wouldn't have been the right decision for you to make, but if you knew me and where I'm coming from and why I'm making the decision that I'm making, I just want you to understand it. And maybe if you understand me, you'll understand why I did what I did. I don't want no acceptance. I'm not asking you to approval. Just understand where I was at when I made this decision, and maybe we can have a real conversation about it, and maybe we can solve some things.
I don't know if Darius was trying to get you to pinpoint where you're heading earlier, because he was sensing a certain level of individualized confusion.
Okay.
Now, if we're here to represent your older, not the senior citizens,
Elder statesman,
but we done been through a couple of things. Okay. So let me ask you this.
Oh shit.
What in your resume of history of relationships, what in the resume of your history of relationships would cause you to believe that you were ready to be in a relationship with this current woman that you've cheated on? You're talking about her as if, I don't know, maybe there's some things going on with her, but maybe she is I said maybe because I don't know.
Okay. Was
she the victim of a brother who didn't know what he wanted and where he was heading and where he's going in life? Were you ready? Did you have your stuff together? Not perfect. Mm-hmm. People always say, well, I'm not perfect. Ain't nobody talking about you being perfect.
Yeah.
We're just talking about enough togetherness. My car doesn't have to be full to get me from here back home. I just need enough for it to be able to get me there. Yeah. You feel me? Yeah. What in your history, if you were to be honest with yourself and reflect in your righteous black mind, in all your manhood, okay?
Okay.
What dictates in your mind that you are ready to for this woman to be entrusted to you, somebody's daughter? You feel me?
No.
See, we talk about all this relationship malarkey.
Ooh,
Okay, I said malarkey.
malarkey.
I might have got that from Friends or something. It's Steinfeld show or something. We're malarkey.
You got that from what was it? A PWI?
Maybe
You got
maybe
that.
so malarkey. But this is the thing, man. We talk about in our homes, right? Girl, you need to know how to cook and clean. Young man, you need to learn to work on cars and stuff like that. And that's kind of old school chauvinistic, maybe a little bit, but these are the things that we think we need. You need to learn to get A's in school to get into college. Who's talking to us about being ready for a relationship?
But
That conversation ain't taking place in a lot of our homes.
who is talking about women as if they're ready to be in a relationship?
Neither
also?
gender is getting this conversation.
Because I don't want to speak on it too much, like I said, because the words that I might say may be used against me in a way that they shouldn't be used, right?
Right.
And that safe space is not a real thing, if we're being honest. If we're going to be honest with everybody, I can't express safely and feel like I can not complain but point out things and they actually be addressed as I would like them to be addressed. At the end of the day, I don't think people understand, a woman understands. So after everything happened, it blew up. I was trash talk, called all kind of names.
You cheated.
Wait.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Wait. Did you hear my first question, brother?
Go back to it.
My question is, were you prepared and were you ready to be entrusted with this young lady? What in your history would suggest that you were prepared? You had your stuff together, brother, that you knew what you wanted and you weren't just going to mess over a woman, hit it and quit it or what have you, okay? That's the conversation sometimes we need to have instead of having these conversations about what women are doing or not doing.
No. I don't know how to answer that.
Okay, that's fair.
And the reason why the reason why I don't know how to answer that is because I know what it is that I want and what I can handle.
I see.
Brianna, we've had these conversations.
Okay.
And she's seen people that I've dealt with and are like, what the hell are you doing? Right. And I'm doing what the hell I'm doing because I care about a situation more than I care about myself, which is weird because I don't think people understand how common that is for a man in a sense to care about things more than they care about themselves. Or that's something that I've seen, right? Protectors. We're that's who we are. We're jumping in front of the bullet. We're taking care of all this.
You have referenced our dear engineer here. I'd love to ask her a question about this concerning you.
Uh-oh.
Can we talk?
No. Sure.
What do you have?
It's okay. Real quick, Bree.
Go ahead.
Bree. So me and Brianna know a lot. She knows not everything, but
Sure.
she knows. And I don't have to speak to her for her to know what's going on because that's how close we're. Like she knows me, right?
And that's why I looked at it to ask her this question.
And I don't. And everyone that's listening, I don't want to make this a personal thing for me. I don't want to make this an attack on her nor myself. I don't.
I got you.
Because, like, believe it or not,
I thought that's what you wanted, though, brother.
no, I want to have that conversation with you first.
Okay, I got you.
And to answer
That's
your,
fair.
And that's because I think it's needed. Because to answer your question, in all honesty, and I'll let Brianna continue it.
Okay.
Me and her were never ready to get to that point in a relationship.
But you did it anyway.
I never wanted to be like, yes, let's be in it. And it had nothing to do with me not wanting to be in a committed situation with someone. It's that I knew that when it came to where I was at, and where I felt the foundation of us, I don't think we were
Right.
ready.
I love that word.
I don't, and it's crazy because like I feel like as in a job, you have to earn that position.
Yeah.
I don't feel like you should get the job and then let's see how this shit works
Yeah.
out.
So, can I interrupt for a minute? Can I interrupt?
Please, I'm
So I definitely we need to get.
I'm in trouble
because
already.
we got the audience waiting to hear from Bree and she ain't said nothing. We need to let her talk.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you personally, if I was listening in and I'm not on the panel, I was listening, I'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? Because I still don't know what you're asking us. What is it like when you? Because you're like, man, there's a cry. I need some brothers. And I'm like, okay, but what is the? What do you?
Well, that's what it is. I've told her I'm scared. I'm scared to talk to her.
Okay.
Because I don't have that safe space, and if I can
In the
talk
relationship.
to
Okay.
openly
Here we go.
communicate my feelings.
Gotcha.
Like I say, a woman, and this is by no means an excuse. And I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to. It's a question to the audience, and then Brianna, talk your shit, right? But a woman steps out on a relationship, and it's normally because what? A man didn't provide something for her. She didn't feel like she was getting everything at home, or she felt unloved or unwanted, right? If a man steps out of a relationship, he's just a whore.
He's a dog.
And he just has nothing at all that he wants to do but just knock down women, right? As if men sometimes feel like we're not getting what we want at home, or someone is providing the wants and the needs that we want. And again, that should be a conversation you should have, just like a woman should have that conversation. As in,
Somebody's phone.
no, that's mine. Don't worry about it. Hit that button on the top. And then that button on the top if it does it again. And it's like and then it's just one of those things where like I really want to like be able to talk, and like I know what I did, right? And I'm not trying to take it back. I know what I did, and I know exactly how it was. I know what it felt like. I get it. I get all that shit, right?
So basically, you're saying you feel like if you try to have this conversation with her, she's not going to listen to you. She's not hearing you.
Well, it's not that I'm not going to be heard.
She's not going to understand.
I think it's not going to be understood, and it's like you have feelings and thoughts and reasons, and
This is the setup.
yeah.
You were saying earlier, you don't feel like sometimes you can talk to a woman about your situation sometimes. Sometimes you got to ask the woman the right question. And I'm about to ask Bree
Yeah, ask her.
possibly the right question.
Let's go ahead.
Because this is the setup. I asked our brother here what on his menu of history would suggest that he has a level of readiness to have been in a serious relationship with this woman. He responded, of course, as he did. There's some things that he and I are going to discuss in counsel, perhaps prayerfully. But this is my question, Bree. From what you know of your cousin, what you know of this man, good brother and all, do you think this man has the capacity to articulate to a woman what he's looking for, what he needs, or does he just somehow philander around and maybe they may get there? Do you think he has the ability to communicate from what you know of him?
At some point he can, but Damien has the worst deliveries ever.
Deliveries?
No, hold on, time out, breathe.
You can't
Answer,
deliver
hold on,
the-
time out.
You do
Brand,
some training
answer
from DoorDash?
answer this question as a modern answer. Okay, my tack is shitty, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm very blunt, and so to answer your question, can I articulate it? And I'm taking over. I'm sorry, Brandon. Can I articulate what it is that I want from someone?
Go
Yes.
ahead.
I can totally articulate it, and I have no problem expressing what I want. And it now how you receive it from how I said it.
Okay.
No. That's no.
It's
Seriously.
true. Yes, his
But-
delivery, how he explains or tells you something, it's horrible.
No, it's just direct. It's clear. Like it's. I have to tell Brianna to message people for me sometimes.
It's so funny that wow, it's you, and this because so one of the things I always go through as I'm going through this whole process of dating women and stuff, and we always talk about communication, right, and how important it is. And one of the things I always say is like a lot of people understand that one part of communication is being able to express yourself and to articulate, right? And the other part is the person who's listening being able to listen to get understanding. So everybody gets those two parts, right? Whether or not they practice it, people get those. But the part that always seems to be missing is the part in the middle, which is knowing your audience, respecting it. How do you deliver what you're saying to them? So in this case, you are the perfect victim of what I'm saying. You will express things without tact, and then it's like, well, the minute you do that, of course the other person is going to shut down because you may be offending them, right? And if a person becomes offended, they're not going to listen. And one of the things they always
That
teach
has been said before.
Yeah, and one of the things they teach you, I believe they teach you in high school in writing, and then even in college, right? They always say, who is your audience? Who are you writing to? So like if I'm writing a report, right? So I'm a data analyst, and so if I have to build a report, I have to know who that report is going to, because if it's going to executives, they don't want detail. They want high, 1,500 feet, level. They want bird's eye view. They don't want a whole lot of detail. If I'm talking to a line, and if I'm building a report for a line manager, they want detail. So you do need to know your audience and who they are, and you can't just say things any old way you want to say. You do need to be able to express yourself,
which
but you
he's
got to
doing.
be considerate of the other person to make sure that they can hear it. Because if they get offended, now I'm not saying that you can control their offense, but if you're not making any effort, if you're just like blah,
I'm not that bad.
Let me wait a minute. Let me even make it even clearer, because I did make the reference about the deliveries.
Yeah.
That Sister Bree brought up.
Thanks, Bree.
Listen, if you order a pizza from Pizza Hut tonight for your dinner, and DoorDash brings it, or whatever your favorite food is, but I'll use a pizza,
That's fine.
okay? And when they deliver it, it sure enough arrived at your door and it was hot. However, the pizza was scrambled, the cheese was scrambled, and it was all to the side. Your toppings stuff was leaning out the box, running out the box.
Are those my words?
But you delivered the pizza.
Okay.
Well, the guy delivered the pizza to you,
Yeah.
but the way it was delivered
Right.
was not adequate. It was unacceptable. So what is hot? So for men, and this is a this is a national conversation.
Teach me.
This is a national. It's not just you. It's us. It's me. It's all of us. And like my brother said, your words don't belong to you. Your words belong to the reader. Your words don't belong to you. And a lot of times brothers will be like, well, hell, I told her what I meant. I'm communicating. No, you're not, dude. You're saying stuff, you're not applying any wisdom to what you're saying. You're talking like you talk to your third, fourth, and fifth girlfriend back in the day from high school. Your articulation level may not, a lot of us, it hasn't grown since high school, from college. We just saying stuff like she one of the boys from the barbershop.
Yeah.
Yelling, your jugular vein is coming out. Look, man, this is not one of the fellas.
Right.
And then we stand on that. Well, I said I shouldn't have to dumb down. You ain't dumbing down what you're saying, but you're speaking to the person that you are sharing intimacies with, or you want to share intimacies with. So look at this woman and talk to her the way she can receive it.
And I've, again, Brandon will be the first one to tell you this. My delivery isn't like bad. Like it was like horrible, like back in the day. Like it was, and I'm not even looking at her. And
I'm looking at her body like
no. You can look at her body. Like my tact and my delivery is
sir.
a million times better than it used to be. And that's just comes with age, right? I've gotten older, and I have more care about people and myself, right? To where like, you know, people are a dime a dozen back then. You don't want to fuck with me and shit. Cool. Next. So, and like, I really feel like the message that I have is a good message that I want people to hear. So I'm trying to, and we even talked about it, how to get the message across to people so they can get it.
Right.
But then I also think that, you know, as you sit here and say that my words aren't mine, my words are theirs. I agree with that 100%. But as I'm speaking these words to you, I need you to listen to these words as I give them to you.
Yes.
Right. And I think that is also an issue as well. I'm not here saying that I'm perfect. I'm not here saying that I've done nothing wrong to make the person that I was dating 100% mad at me. I'm not saying that. I'm not here saying that it was all their fault and I've done nothing and everything that I did was because you pushed me to the vagina of another woman. Like, I'm not saying that, right? What I'm saying is that it's always more to the conversation.
Right.
And what I'm saying is that, you know, it sucks to where when we have a conversation about some things and I'm talking to you about some things,
Right.
and it's like, you know, I don't feel like I'm being heard. And I don't think as a woman understands that as a man, that has to be one of the most, I don't know as a man, I can't speak for all men, but for me, that has to be one of the most defeating feelings in the world to have a message to tell somebody.
Probably equal.
Yeah.
And not feeling like I'm being heard. Again, I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. I just want you to hear where I'm coming from.
And if I may add to it, I want to make a couple of different points, and one of them is going to be a personal experience of mine that Brother Ken knows about, and we'll get to it. Lost my there we go. All right, and we'll get to it. But so one thing I kind of want to address. So Kim was saying, you know, us brothers, you know, sometimes, and I just need to say that is not just a man thing. I promise you, it's not just a man thing, because there are so many. Yes, like I said, I'm single. I'm in the date world, right? And so I'm on date sites, and you don't know how many women's profiles I see them say, I'm direct, I'm straightforward, I say what's on my mind, blase, blase, blase. Any kind of expression that relates to that. And whenever you talk to them, they start, it's exactly what we're talking about here. Tact. They just think that you should be able to say anything the way you want to. And if you are a man who gets offended by it, then you are a weak man.
Yeah.
You know, or, you know, whatever. They will attack your manhood for not being okay with them being able to say anything the way they want to say it. So it is definitely not just a man thing. So I needed to address that, because the other part of it is, a lot of times when we have these kinds of discussions and we talk about relationships, I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Men are the low-hanging fruit. It's easy to attack men, right? Because it's acceptable in culture to talk about men. All other groups are sensitive groups. So you can't really talk about other groups. But men, and if you're a white man, you're really in trouble. That's the one group can't say nothing, right? Right. But if you're a man, and again, social media,
We'll talk about
if
that
you're
later.
trying to sell books or whatever, especially when it has to do with relationships, then you're going to write the book catering to the women, because those are the ones that are going to buy the books anyway. Men are not buying books about relationships. And I hate to say it, but this also goes on in churches. Ministers, because their congregation is mostly women, whenever they talk about relationships, they're going through their whole thing about husbands and wives and stuff. They love to get on the man, how the man needs to do this and get right and all the rest of this stuff, as if women are completely blameless, right? And I'm like, well, I did read Genesis, and I swore Eve was partly responsible for what went down. But for whatever reason, we just seem to not want to say anything about women.
Low blow,
right?
sir. Low blow.
Yeah, it's like, but and I get the idea. Well, we need to be responsible, but again, when I go back to to Genesis, it wasn't like God said to Adam, "It's all your fault. I'm not gonna, put any, there's not going to be consequences for Eve, only Adam." No, it sounded like there was consequences for Adam, Eve, and Satan, right? Or everybody got a piece of that. So why do we think we can fix relationships by only working on men? If you have a car with 2 flat tires, you can't fix one and think you got a car that's going to work.
Yeah.
So if we want to talk about making relationships work, we have to be able to call women out for their crap too. We can't just call men out.
And as you said that, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did.
No, that's okay.
But I did it for the simple fact that, as we're talking about, I don't 110% agree with you guys, which we're not here to be in agreement. We're here to have a conversation,
Sure.
right?
Right.
Well, about, words, right? And how, we need to cater our words to people, right? I feel like, and this is just from experience, that some people are just here to take everything you say the worst possible way they possibly can, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's not, no situation is always on one side of the coin, right? It's never a one side issue. I've said some really simple things to people to where no offense should be taken. And then when they repeat it back to me, I didn't even say that. Like, where would you get that from? Like,
Get it from being hurt already.
but how can you sit here? I could sit here and say something like, I could just sit here and say something. And then they turn it to something else that has nothing to do with the context of what I originally had it for. And now all of a sudden I'm paying for.
Like he was saying, because your words might have hurt them, and so they're going to deflect.
And listen, sometimes you're just not a good match. You mentioned about the Bible. Bible talks about being equally yoked, and church folk have run with that a lot. And they for previous generations, a lot of times it just meant both of us are saved. Both of us have a similar belief in the Lord Jesus Christ. But really, it's going way beyond that. It's philosophy.
As of right now, or are you talking about back then it was deeper than just
Being equally yoked?
Yes.
I think it's still very important.
Okay.
But what I'm elevating, thank you for that question. What I'm elevating is, yes, if people have a spirituality about them, they need to have an agreement about that.
Okay.
Since he brought up Genesis. But it even means more, not more, but also just as important is, can we communicate? Do we agree about how to communicate? Do we agree about how to parent, budget, all those things? It's not just about one thing. When you talk about sometimes people take the worst statements, man, that might be coming from somewhere. That topic might be sore, whatever that topic is, they're raw about it. And when you are communicating with your partner, it would be great if you know what are sensitive topics. If somebody turns everything on a negative, it's more than just what's going on with that conversation generally. If you're dealing with a reasonable person, okay?
But see, hold on, with that,
If you're dealing with a
with you saying if you're dealing with a reasonable person,
if they're not reasonable, why are you dealing with
do
them?
you understand? No. Do you understand the kind of flack you can get for saying that, and then I get blamed for not having tact because I'm saying,
because this is the way you say it. Again, if you attack the person, say you're not reasonable. It's not too many people going to be like okay with that. They're like, what do you mean I'm not reasonable? Because now you're making a judgment about their character and personality, and they're
so
be
we're
like,
not allowed to make judgments about things that people put in front of us, as opposed. And one,
That's not what I said.
No. No, I know that's not what you said. It's me being condescending in what you're saying, because that's the response we get. And my biggest thing when I talk to people that I'm like, and this is a line that anyone that I've dealt with has heard, I'm not your enemy. So as I'm expressing and telling you X, Y, and Z, it's not coming from a place of me trying to be an asshole or being a jerk to you. It's coming from a place of care. And I'm trying to call you out on your shit as you call me out on mine, because it needs to change. If we're going to be a better anything, right? And it has nothing to do about us being better together. It has everything to do with us being together. Us being better, period.
So I hear what you're saying, and like you said, all of that comes back to communication, delivery, words, and again, dealing with a reasonable person. But I have a situation.
What you mean I ain't reasonable? What the hell are you talking about?
But I have a personal situation that Brother Ken is very familiar with. Is even it's actually how I met him. I don't want to go into too much detail.
So we can't talk about it?
No, we're gonna again, because the other person's not here to defend themselves, right? So that's why I don't want to go too far into it. But I was dating this woman, and we had planned this following weekend that we were going to do something. So they're like, well, okay, Darius, you set something up. and let me know so we can do this, whatever. But she was going to go hang out with a girl first, and then later on that evening, we were going to go do something together. So I'm looking up some stuff, trying to find something interesting to do, whatever. And so I'm like, hey, what about this? And I'm texting her, sending her stuff, right? Sending her stuff. I know sending her stuff. And, eventually I wasn't watching, my phone battery died, so it's like, now I got to put it on the charger. So I leave the room. I'm talking to my son, whatever, having some conversation. I guess during that time, she made some calls to me, and I didn't answer because I was away from the phone. So finally, I come back. The phone rings again. It's like, oh, hey, So I pick up the phone. It's her. I'm like, hey, what's up? We talking and stuff. And she's just insisting that something is wrong. Mm-hmm. She's like, what is the matter? I feel like something's going on. What's wrong? What's the matter? And I'm trying to tell her. I'm like, what? There's nothing wrong, nothing the matter, whatever. She's like, well, I thought we were supposed to do something. I didn't receive anything from you, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, what are you talking about? I sent you plenty of stuff. And so I make a snapshot of the stuff that I sent it to her. And she sent me back a thing. Wait, because what Ken had to say to me when I went to him about this, I think applies to this conversation.
You remember this whole situation, right, Ken?
It was something I had to learn from it too. But anyway, so I was like, so me being a man, I'm like all about logic and facts.
Yes.
I'm like, look, I did sent her the proof. She sent me back things showing that she didn't get it, right? And so I'm like, well, okay, I don't know what happened, whatever. But she's still upset, still insisting something happened, and was like, I just don't feel like talking anymore. I'm done, whatever. I'm like, what in the world? Like I was like, I don't even get out even sure. Look, it's obviously a technical glitch. Like, why are we still fighting about this? Like, I proved that I sent something. You proved that you didn't receive it. Okay. So that to me seems like it should have solved the issue, but we were still having issues. So I was like, all right. Now, the reason I reached out to Ken, because I'm gonna be honest, I thought this was outside of that issue. I thought she was a dope woman. Like, oh, I like this chick. Right? I like her. Right. So it's like, all right, we got communication issues. I'm gonna go deal with this now. I'm gonna reach out to Ken. So the first question Ken asked me was, so how long you been dating this woman? I told him, he's like, what? You must really like this girl. I'm not gonna tell you guys how long because I don't feel like being judged now.
I'm gonna bring you to open the door, but I want to congratulate you on that. Go ahead and finish, but I'm gonna congratulate you on that. Go ahead.
So I was like, okay.
I gotta hear this.
So we made the appointment. We went and talked to Ken. I explained the situation, and then Ken was like, Brother Darius, he was like, listen. You need, look, I understand, and I don't want, because I want him to talk about it. But basically, it was something to the point of you got to learn to value someone else's feelings, even though their feelings may not be true to.
Yes, sir.
The issue is what they're feeling, and so that's what I kind of want to
get
to. That whole feeling thing is something we kind of gotta. So go ahead.
Well, first of all, I think Darius had been seeing this young lady 3-4 weeks.
No, it wasn't that. It was not 3 or 4 weeks. It was closer to 3 months.
Well, anyway, it was early. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But it was early.
Ago,
but I wanted to
2 months. 2 months.
It was early. It was early. We can agree.
Yep.
I usually don't get couples that early.
Yeah.
But I congratulated both of them because they came in. They thought they may have had something. The relationship showed promise. Okay? So instead of going down the road of ignoring feelings and not having poor communication, they decided to come for counseling.
Early.
Man, I love that. Oh my God, I love that. You know it, because then you can work things out and see what you have. I'm not in the business of Cupid, trying to make somebody's couples stay together or whatever. We're there to try to work on foundation. We're there to see if this is, if you guys are compatible or not. So, man, that's a lot of wisdom coming out of you with that. But let me say this, okay? Because I'm sensing, my brother, a little pushback from you, possibly, when it comes to adjusting your deliveries. That word, the deliveries.
Yeah.
No.
Although you've grown in that area.
Yeah, I'm getting better. I'm not.
Okay, wonderful. But look, this is what I want to say. People can be who they are all day long.
Okay.
Just stay single and don't have no kids. If you don't want to adjust your deliveries or your sharing or stay single But the minute you decide to hook up with somebody else, you have to begin to blend.
Yes.
You're going to have to begin to work hard to blend. And sometimes people blend better or quicker than others. Couples don't have arguments for whatever reason. But when you got two strong-minded people, okay, it might take a little bit more work. And there's nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't just say, well, hey, we just button heads, so maybe it's not meant for us to be together. That might be true. But maybe you just need some help with communicating. Most people don't realize it. And I'm going to quote Dr. John Gottman back in 92. He did a study, he and his wife were meeting with thousands of couples, and they kept up with this data. And what they learned was 69% of all couples break up. Why? Not because of cheating, not because of money, not because of none of those things. They break up because they never learn to talk about the stuff that they don't want to talk about. Anybody that wants to be in a relationship, okay, including myself.
That's
okay?
the stuff I want to talk about.
We talk about the stuff that's easy. What do you want to eat tonight? Okay, American, Chinese, or whatever, pizza. We talk about that stuff. We talk about our favorite teams and where we're from and who's the GOAT and all this kind of stuff. But if you want to be in a relationship, we got to learn how to specialize in talking about the stuff that's difficult to discuss. I Kenlinized Dr. Gottman's information by saying the following. We fail to initiate those conversations. We ignore them. We just walk by them like a pile of crap in the middle of the floor. We fail to initiate. Then after we fail to negotiate. Okay? Anytime you're negotiating, you're not going to get everything that you want.
Wow.
You're not going to get everything. There's got to be some sacrifice. You got to give up something. And then lastly, okay, we fail to complete the conversation. We'll bring up budgeting, but we won't follow through with it. Okay? Initiation, negotiation, and completion. When it comes to communicating, and please know you're going to have to give up something if you're going to have a real conversation. Don't allow antics, all the drama, waving and mocking and throwing stuff. That ain't getting you nowhere. We got to follow through when it comes to difficult conversations.
Man, and with that being said, and it's that's where I think tech can also be addressed. So in talking about those hard to speak conversations, sometimes in even bringing up those conversations is considered being tactless, and really it's not.
It's not.
But so again, like, I'm the one that's talking about those things that I shouldn't talk about.
That's hero talk.
But again, like, and Brandon will tell you, like, I've had some really hard conversations with people, and not the simple fact that my delivery was bad. It's that maybe you're not the one to talk about this, and I'm like, why not? So that was we're gonna use it as our close. That was dope. I like that.
That was good.
I like that. And again,
did you hear he Kenlinized it though?
I Kenlinized the ink.
Yeah,
Kenlinized it.
Kenlinized.
I thought that was a whole real word until you. I'm gonna Google that. That's Googleable now. We just had a Googleable word right now.
Man, I make up all kinds of words in counseling.
But no, and that's the thing when I think it comes to tech, and I think that's, like, again, powerful closing. But you can't confuse a hard conversation with being tactless.
Right.
You have to understand that sometimes looking at yourself in the mirror and accepting the negatives that do exist in you. We all don't exist with positive adjectives. We don't, right? We easily accept a positive adjective. You can tell an ugly person they're beautiful all day long, and they'll accept it, knowing they're not beautiful, right? You can sit here and tell someone that is beautiful that they're ugly, and they're gonna have it. What do you mean? They're gonna, and they know that they're beautiful, but no one likes negative adjectives.
They don't.
And I think when it talks about knowing your worth, it's not just knowing what you're good at and your positive adjectives. It's also knowing and understanding your negatives. Probably more importantly than your positives. And that's what I'm going to leave everybody with, piggybacking off your
Kindlinized
your
expression.
kindlinized word.
Kindlinized.
What do you have for us, Darius?
What do I have? Listen, I like you said, I think it's important for people to understand, like Dr. Kim was saying, to have those hard conversations, but understand that we need to stop making these things about just men. That's if we're going to fix relationships and really trying to move forward in relationships, we got to understand both sides has dirt, and both sides got to work on their dirt. So,
well, there you have it. Once again, audience, this was not supposed to be a story about me, and it really wasn't, because a lot of everyone out there that is listening, tuned in, is going through similar issues or have gone through it, and I'm trying to figure myself out, and not just myself, but as I've started podcasting over the last few years, I have been, believe it or not, I've been very intentional about dealing with people, and letting some things go is a lot harder than you would think, in a sense. And just as, manipulation has happened with men towards women, as they talk about, believe it or not, women manipulate the hell out of us as well. And this is kind of where I'm at. So if I can bring my story to you guys, and hopefully not only make a conversation out of it, but maybe help somebody with it, while in turn helping myself to discover what I need to discover, and meeting two great gentlemen like Mr. Ken and also Mr. Darius. I think it's all worth it. So once again, thank y'all for tuning in to Socially Irresponsible, the podcast. Once again,
God bless you, brother. Keep up the good work, man.
all right. I'll see you around for sure.
yes, sir. And y'all have a good evening, man. Y'all take care. Peace. We
Thank
out.
you.
Darius, I want to give you a gift, brother, because it sounds like you're struggling.